I think this was supposed to be their, phase 2 or whatever. They hadn't actually done this, but they wanted to hook it up to some kind of brainwave scan, so you could actually tell your emotion at the time of saying it. So you could go back and look up at the times that you were on the subway and you were angry, and maybe, I don't know, some bum pissed you off or something like that. So you could remember that actual, look up that actual occasion. But I started thinking that a GPS tracker constantly showing exactly my location might not be the safest idea. So I don't know, I might revisit that one and make it a little more general, but that's always been something I'm interested in. Video blogging, again, is sort of the next logical step after, after moblogging, after mobile picture taking. So now that I've got a device that supports that, I just bought a $1,000 phone. It's not a phone, it's a pocket PC. It's a little computer. That's sort of the next logical extension there, and I'd really like to go down that realm. And wearable cameras, I don't know how many of you heard of Steve Mann, but he's like my god, of this. And he does with mediated reality, actually, not only wearable cameras, but you're taking a video, and then he's wearing glasses that actually project the video back to him with with additional information, so he can look at somebody. He can look at somebody and have the facial recognition put their name below the picture as he looks at them. Things like that. And he's got to the point where it's actually disorienting for him to not wear these glasses because there's so much information. He does satellite feeds and does some very, very interesting stuff. And he's actually from Toronto, which is where I'm from, so that's kind of neat. That's something I'd like to maybe, go down there. This is my philosophy for life and my site and everything. And this is my philosophy for communities too. And my friend, I'm not a math person, and this is for my friend Erica, who is very much a math person, and she kind of nabbed this from a professor, and I just loved it, and it's become my new philosophy. Integrate everything in life. And this comes back to my site. I mean, this ties back into why I'm using content management system, why why I like the cams the way I like, and why things aren't just good enough, the way they are. I'll give you an example. I use Outlook for my email and managing my life. And as much as I hate to use Outlook, it's the one that does everything, and it's the only thing that I can actually take emails and drag them to a task list and add comments. And most people don't use all those functions of Outlook, and for me, it's become sort of a necessity. So I love that. But now on my site, I used to use Mozilla Calendar to update my calendar on my site, because it creates ICS files, which are the same as Apple's iCal files, which then have a couple people have written some web applications to display them using PHP. So I could create, using Mozilla Calendar, I could create calendar files which I could then upload, which could then be displayed, and this was all great. But then when I really needed to be using Outlook, it was like, well, I need to be able to use the same functionality. I hate having two programs. Having two programs, having a program for my email and a program for my schedule just wasn't good enough. That all had to be together in one. So, with the help of some macro that somebody had already developed, and my boyfriend and I kindly helping me out with some of the coding work on it, we created it so I can export your normal Outlook calendar files as ICS files and upload them, FTP them right from within Outlook. So that's sort of an example of what I take this philosophy as, and it's about all these little things that make life seamless. They make life a lot easier to go on like that. So community. So this is really cool, and I was so glad when I was asked to speak here, because community is what my site is really about, and it's not what I intended my site to be about when I started. But then things started taking on a mass of its own, and I started realizing, hey, this is a community. Every step is an opportunity to make things better for your visitors and you. And what that is to me is I've been accused of thinking too much, and I'd say there's worse things that you could be accused of, but there's probably better ones too. And everything that I either make, if you're making a change, or if you're upgrading something, or if you're thinking about upgrading something, or you're thinking about changing something when it comes to a community that you're running, this is not just a chance to upgrade and a chance to make things latest and greatest and cooler. This is a chance to really make things better and make things easier for you. Make things, and I look at everything with such a critical eye when I'm looking at the community and looking at the things that run it. It's like, how could we make this easier for people to do? And I treat lurkers as sort of the holy grail of the community, because they're there. They've come to the site. They're reading the site, but they're not quite crossing that line into interacting. And so I think that's what drives this goal for me, to constantly be trying to make things easier and better and more enticing for people to do, because it's just like, why are they not interacting? And you can, along the way, you can make things a lot easier for yourself too. Just like like I was saying with Outlook. I mean, that makes my life so much simpler because I'm just dealing with one program instead of two. So everything that you do to your site, everything that you need to, you might need to change or along the road, treat it like a golden opportunity, because this is a perfect opportunity to be making things better. Transparency, and what I mean by that is really letting people know what's going on behind the scenes. I run. One of the things I run on the site is a nuke module called Workboard, which I use, and I actually have somebody now who helps me out sort of as an assistant webmaster, and we use to coordinate all the projects that are going on, because I have I have like a billion ideas that are constantly on the go, and there's things that need to be fixed, and there's all that. But it's not something that we keep between ourselves. It's not us emailing back and forth. It's not some kind of group project management. It's right on the site. So at any given time, anybody can go and see exactly what I'm working on, exactly what the priorities for everything are, how much has to be done, how I'm doing everything. And I think that's really cool, because people can actually see how everything's working behind the scenes. So, I'm very open about, how many people come to the site, how many people join the site, all that kind of stuff. So that really gives people, I think, a sense of belonging. I think that's part of what and I don't know, maybe in my case, changes it from being sort of a fan community to being an interactive community, and where everybody's really on a level playing field. So give it time. To me, there's nothing sadder than going to a message board and there's like 5 posts, and one of them is the message board owner saying, "Why is nobody posting?" And one thing that I was very, very careful of, and some people, and I keep saying girls because it's this whole, again it comes back to this whole cam girl world. It's like you put up a webcam and you write a little thing about you, and you expect to be getting, like gifts in the mail, and people, you can have a chat room and everybody will always be chatting, but it's just not the case. And I was really careful of that, because I've always hated that, and I really wanted to avoid that. That when I started the site and when I started adding interactive features, I didn't add them until the community was ready for it. So, I had a poll at first and a few things like that. Then we had the message boards, and then, it seems to develop enough critical mass that I could, actually have a chat. And I run an IRC chat now that generally has people in it, and generally people are actually talking in it, which is something I couldn't have done a couple of years ago. So, not forcing those things on it, because I think, if people go to a chat room once and there's nobody in it or nobody talking in it, they don't necessarily go back again, because they assume that's the way it always is. But if you wait till you're at that point when it works, I think that usually works a lot better. Same thing with the membership site too. People will start up sites and start charging $19.99 a month to do it. And for the record, my site is $6. It's it's as little as I can without basically losing money or feeling losing money on the credit card processing. And and they started that up, and they expect that to get popular, and it just doesn't work that way. Branching out to other sites, and that's kind of RSS is the thing that's really opened the door for that. And I do my journal is on LiveJournal, and the reason my journal is on LiveJournal instead of Blogger, instead of just running a custom script on my site, is because there's the whole LiveJournal community that you have around that. But at the same time, I can't stand to have something on another site that's not on my site. So what I've got is I've got my journal then syndicated using RSS onto my own site. So you can go to my site and you can see everything out there that that sort of exists about me, I guess. But at the same time, it's on other communities too. And then another site that I've just been raving about for the last week that I love is 43things.com, and it's just a site of lists. People go in and they create these lists of things they want to do in life, their goals in life, and it's everything from like floss every day to run a marathon. Like its range is huge, and it got really big. And it's really cool that so I put some of my goals up there and some of the things I'm doing. But not only that, again, I can syndicate it back to my site, and I can have and they're tied into the LiveJournal API. So every time that I make a post about one of the goals that I'm working on, it posts it to my journal too. And then people over on my site don't ever really even know or care if they want to about these other sites. But you've got this whole other reach of audience. You've got all the people that go there that then again see can it flows both ways. So that's what I was saying about that sort of that Venn diagram idea of communities, is having that overlap, and don't be afraid to move to other sites, because the traffic and the features go both ways. So user customizable, that's everything from letting people view things they want to view things, not blocking people from changing font sizes or from doing that. I'd like to get into that a little bit more. I'd like to be able, people to be able to choose which headlines they're seeing, or what features they want to have in a certain area, how many posts they want to see on a forum, and people, you got to let go of that control, I think, as an author. And I posted in my forums, actually. I think I posted the 10,000th post in one of the forums or something, and then sort of we got into a conversation. I said something about, by the way, is there anything that people would like to change or like to be able to do? And one person said something about changing themes in the forums, and I'm going, what do you mean changing themes? What's wrong with my theme? I like my theme. What's wrong with my theme? And that's what my head is going. But why? Why wouldn't you let people do that? If they were, I'm not saying that, you have to give them the choice to do anything, but, all that does is makes people happier, makes, them enjoying their time more. If they, maybe they have, maybe they don't have the greatest eyesight in the world and they want to be able to change to just black and white or higher contrast. But it's that initial feeling that's hard to overcome sometimes, of that it's mine and I like it the way it is and I don't want anybody changing it. And that can, again, help, build your community. Personality, well, and when I talked to Froggy about what I was going to talk about, it was a little bit, I was having trouble deciding what really was interesting and what was relevant. And I find people that really like, that like to ask me about the site, and that's great, and I love it. But, again, it's got to the point where the site, somebody said once, I can't remember who it was on my site, said the thing I love about your site, Steph, is that it's around you, but it's not all about you. And I kind of had to think about that when I internalized it for a bit. And I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but again, remembering what brought people there in the first place. I got so busy, and this is why I hired somebody to help me out with the site, because I was getting to the point where I was spending so much time on running the site. I was never like posting in my journal or hanging out and chatting with people, because I was too busy running everything. And as fun as that is, I lost all sense of what that was. And I'm like, well, if I don't exist, then the whole reason that people were sort of here in the first place doesn't exist, and then everything blows up or something. I don't know. But what really caught me, and this was the bug that got me at the beginning, was this encouraging people to interact with my life. And I put, back again in like 2001 or something, I put up a poll saying, what color should I dye my hair? And I actually let popular vote decide my hair color. And this was the coolest thing ever. I thought I was just like on cloud 9 about this. I thought this was the greatest thing. I just let people on the internet decide my hair color. I think it was purple, for the record. I can't remember, but yeah, I know, seriously. I should be auctioning off my hair color. And that was the bug that got me. That was what really turned this into wanting to share my entire life online. And people often ask me, well, but you have no privacy, and you can't, you don't have the freedom to do what, I don't know, but to me it's the exact opposite. It gives me all the freedom in the world. And, I don't know if you guys know, but I released an album about a year and a half ago, and which I have here for the low cost of $12. And, not to say that wouldn't have ever happened without the site and without the community, but it wouldn't have happened nearly, I think, as well or as soon as it happened. Because I'm blogging through the entire process, and I'm getting support from people. And one very late night near the end of the process, I was doing my own packaging, which never do your own packaging. It was horrific. And I'm getting frustrated, and this has got to go to the printers whenever. And I posted in my journal, I'm like, somebody help me, like, please, I'm working with this like 200 meg Photoshop file, and what's this registration thing I need to give them and all that. And so I posted, and within hours, I've got like 3 people emailing me who are professional graphic designers who are like, send me the file, or, what do you need to know, and help me out, and it's stuff. And that's freedom to me. That's not, that's not closing doors, that's opening doors. So, the idea that, the idea that I'm losing privacy really, it just doesn't click with me. And you know, again, people ask me why do you have a webcam? Why do you have broadcast your life, you know, 24 hours a day? And it's really more that I don't mind. I just don't care. I don't mind if people see everything I'm doing. And you know, and I don't know what about me, you know, created that. I don't know why I'm like that, but I think it's that interaction. It's knowing